Human rights are about how we treat each other. Human rights are about what we are entitled to simply because we are human.
People with disabilities have the exact same rights as everybody else. Our human rights are written in some important documents such as the United Nations International Bill of Human Rights.
Although people with disability have the same rights as everybody else, we believed we needed to expressly acknowledge their rights. So the International Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability was created. Countries who have signed up to these international agreements can then choose to include them in their local laws.
In Australia, we have the Disability Discrimination Act that provides protection to people who are treated unfairly because they have a disability. It promotes equal rights and opportunity for people with disabilities.
More recently, we have the National Disability Insurance Scheme Act. This act specifically mentions the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability and specifically mentions people with disability have the same rights as everyone else and what these rights are.
Human rights are about treating each other with respect.
We think it's very important that his rights are respected, and that we certainly agree with the individualised service that he's now getting. It's much better than the previous arrangement he had.
Human rights is about treating people with dignity.
It's important, that now that we sort of have opened our eyes to Emma's communication style and how she is communicating in some very clear ways, that we we pay attention to that, and that human rights is about dignity.
Human rights are about treating each other with fairness.
Human rights are about not denying anyone their freedom.
If I was not disabled, what happens to my body and in my home would not be open for debate.
As we have said, people with disabilities have the same rights as everybody else. The National Disability Insurance Scheme also acknowledges that people with disabilities have the right to the supports they need in order to be able to exercise all their rights.
So, for example, you may not be able to exercise your right to work unless your right for support to get and stay in work is also upheld. Having rights as part of the law is one thing. It is not enough though. We also need to believe in people and have respect for everyone's human worth. Human rights are the responsibility of everyone. Human rights can be strengthened through our choices each and every day to respect and support each other, including people with disability.
Building relationships and choosing to get to know people and understand them can help us rise above the differences that often exist between people.
And to stand with them as a friend or ally. It can just take one person.
As Michael Kendrick has said,
the transformative power of just one person should never be underestimated.
Because there have been too many incidences where the power has prevailed against the impossible odds.
The starting point for the many is always the few, and the gathering of the few is always begun by the small, significant actions of one.